Yep, and that meant Carsten did get to see this one, and he said West Bowling were way too good, especially in the first half. Sherwood stayed in the game, and they were getting their chances in the second half, and they were rewarded with a score in the second half, didn't they? So a bit of a tough match for them.
Towards the end of the first half, the try, it was a big cut-out pass from the heavy set number 6, I think. I can't remember. I watched it whilst watching the cricket, so I was kind of like betwixt and between.
Right, fair enough. Yeah, the cricket was most absorbing this weekend, I have to say.
So you have the third round draw to go through, which was, of course, conducted in Rochdale just before we started recording, actually, tonight.
Yeah, by Carsten Hayter, Dave Woods himself. And the third round draw in full was Workington Town versus West Bowling, the British Army against Ince Rose Bridge, Lee Miners Rangers against Bentley, Rochdale Mayfield against North Wales Crusaders, Thornhill Trojans against Doncaster, Siddle versus West Hull, Barrow Raiders against London Scholars, and another All League One, Hunslet versus Coventry Bears. Yet another tough draw for the Bears. They seem to be on a run of tough draws in the cup. Keighley Cougars against Newcastle Thunder in an absolute cracking match that'll be.
Based on my League One predictions, they're the two teams to watch, so we'll see if I'm right, but it should be a good game either way.
It should be, yeah, and you think that's an automatic choice for streaming, you'd think. Rochdale Hornets versus York Acorn, and finally West Wales Raiders versus Underbank Rangers.
So I suspect that Siddle versus West Hull might be one that the BBC want to look at, but our league might float more around Keighley and Newcastle. But yeah, those games are on the 8th and 9th of February, so that's not that far away, really, just 2 weeks away, because the cup has to ramp up and get through early.
Condensed, isn't it? Yeah.
Early doors. I mean, we mentioned a couple of the ties. What do you think's the standout tie there?
As you say, Keighley and Newcastle, it's before either this is it's still in their pre-season, isn't it? It's the week before their league kicks off, so you're going to find teams in varying states of readiness, aren't you, from League One? So the Keighley Newcastle is obviously the standout game. In terms of, I'll be interested to see how West Wales go against Underbank, against a good quality community team.
Yeah.
How can they step up?
Yeah.
But if West Wales can kind of win and win well, it might tell you something about progress.
What about any other? Well, I mean, we know we're going to get 3 community sides from British Army versus Ince Rose Bridge, Lee Miners versus Bentley, and Siddle versus West Hull. So that's exciting for those guys because they'll potentially get to face a championship side from the 4th round. What other potential upsets jump out here? I'd throw Rochdale Mayfield against North Wales this one. I mean, Rochdale Mayfield at home, they'll get a decent crowd, I would think, and that could create an intimidating atmosphere for North Wales early in their preparations for this season.
Yeah, distinctly so. I'd like to see Thornhill beat Doncaster, but I can't see it happening somehow. Just got a bit of soft spot for Thornhill. I used to work near there. But for me, that's the Rochdale North Wales is probably the most likely upset, I would say. But yeah, it's good to see some community teams definitely getting through to the next round and hopefully getting a bigger draw.
Exciting stuff. Well, we've got that to look forward to in a couple of weeks. But for now, we've got Super League to look forward to, so we're going to move on to our Round 1 Super League predictions. Right, Alan, it's time to throw our stones up in the air and see where they land and use that as the basis for our predictions for round 1, where we're not really sure what's going to happen for anyone, but we've got a rough idea a little bit. So we'll see how things get started in Super League. The best news is there's 4 televised games, even though we're missing out on Catalan's home games on TV at the start of the season. Hopefully that gets sorted out. But we've still got 4 televised games to look forward to through Sky Sports, which is fantastic. And The first one is Thursday night, 7:45pm kickoff, the now traditional evening kickoff time for Super League, and it is Wigan hosting Warrington, second place from last year's table, hosting fourth place from last year's table. So two of the big guns. I'm a Wigan fan. I want to back my team. I think at home, with me not being sure how well tested Warrington's combinations have been, I think ours maybe have had a little bit more time actually on the training field together. So I'm going to go Wigan by 10.
Yeah, tricky to pick, isn't it?
Well, it's two good sides, isn't it, to start things off, and we've had a few opening rounds against them in the last decade.
Yeah,
or so.
It's too reputationally good. Who knows if one of them's going to have a Wigan in crisis or Leeds in crisis start as they did last year. That could definitely happen to Warrington this year. I've just got a feeling about it with injuries and stuff. But I'm going to go with Wigan for this one. For no other reason than they're playing at home.
Well, it sounds like they might have been blagging everyone about Whaaatt, but who knows?
Yeah, let's have Warrington no wins out of 5 for first 5 rounds, eh? But no, we'll see. I'm going to go with Wigan by 4.
Okay, on to Friday night then. It is a repeat of last year's Super League Grand Final. One side will be looking remarkably familiar to the side that played in that game, aside from a couple of injured guys making their way back to fitness, whereas the other side will be hugely changed, but still you expect well coached and well drilled. So St Helens versus Salford, how do you have it going?
Well, the mantra last year was Saints, unless told otherwise. And it's still the same, literally the same team. A coach kind of had that much of a negative impact already, even if he doesn't have a positive one. Salford, far too much change. I'm not saying they won't get back to something like last year, but a lot of new parts in that team. So St Helens for me, St Helens by 14.
Yeah, I've got Saints by 2 to 3 scores as well. I'm going to plump on Saints by 18. They want to hit the ground running, with the World Club Challenge being the main focus of the start of their season, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Also on Friday night, we see two of the teams that are talked about as being down the bottom end of the season this year. They were certainly in the bottom 4, both of them last year. It's two of the sides that have got injury issues going into the start of the season as well, certainly in the forwards. Hull Kingston Rovers versus Wakefield Trinity. I think this could be a close and messy game. I've not checked what the forecast will be in East Hull, all the way over there.
Just assume wet and windy. That's the usual
I assume
way.
Windy. Yeah, even on a calm day, that stadium finds some way of being windy. I'm going to plump for a home game, decent crowd, emotional response to some really tragic situation with Mossy Massot over the off season. Hull KR will rise for at least this occasion, if not maybe as many others through the rest of the season. I'm going to go them to scrape it, just like they did on the opening night last year. Hull KR by 2.
Now I've gone against that. I've gone for Wakefield, and that is based purely on the fact that they got bitten last year with a first round getting beaten by a massively unfancied team, and I don't fancy that they'll do it again. So I don't think it'll be pretty. I don't think there'll be much in it, but I think Wakefield by 4.
Fair enough. Okay, Saturday, 5 o'clock UK time, 6 o'clock south of France time. It is the Catalans Dragons hosting the Huddersfield Giants. How say you on this one?
I'm going to go for the home draw, and I'm going to say Catalan. Again, with no great confidence at this point. They've got all the pieces to be a lot better than Huddersfield this year. I still think that they probably will be. Catalan by 10.
Yeah, well, I expect good things of Catalan. this year, and starting off with home field advantage, a supposed rise in season ticket sales, maybe buoyed on by people not being able to catch them on TV. I hope that'll create a hostile atmosphere for teams that are visiting there, if my predictions are to come true around the Catalans. So Catalans by 14.
Wow, okay.
On to Sunday then, and the double header at Headingley. I would say the appetizer leading up to the Super Bowl for everyone who's a big sports fan. You've got a great run through of competitive combat, intense physical sport in action on Sunday. I'm very excited for it, and it starts at 2:30 on Sky, of course. Toronto, their first game in the Super League versus the Castleford Tigers. If there's any time Toronto are going to win, it's going to be when they've got a 21-man squad to name, which I think they just about have in this round. So I think, and it's going to be cold. It'd be a bit. There's a potential for it to be a bit wet and messy, therefore, and Toronto suit that more than Cass do, I think. Cass's big strike signing, Sasai Feki, looks like he's out, so that's a blow for them. I'm going to go Toronto by 2 in a scrappy but intense and combative affair.
This is an interesting one, isn't it? I think what the heck? I'm a secret Cass fan. Cass by 10.
Yeah, the secret is out, Al.
It's out.
Okay, and then backing up from that, also on Sky Sports at 4:45 p.m. kickoff time for Leeds versus Hull FC. Where do you think this one's gonna go? Because you're not a secret Leeds fan.
Fuck no. Sorry, this is a slight aside. Of all the predictions I've seen, I haven't seen one that has Hull FC outside the top 6. And I think that's mental. I think they're distinctly average this year. Not to say that. I think I had them 7th or 8th. No, I think I had them 7th or 8th. To me, they're middling. And I think Leeds are going to be slightly better than middling this year. I think they're going to pull their stuff together. So Leeds at home, first game of the season.
7th.
There you go.
So did Tim. So of course, because you and Tim had basically the same predictions.
Yeah, we copied. I'm gonna go for Leeds. Leeds by 6.
We talked about on the preview show that Leeds have looked actually quite well organised and stuff in the pre-season action that I've seen from them. I see a Leeds win. Leeds by 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there. So, also, everyone, make sure you get around the Subaru Predictions League that we have got set up for the tipping competition. We will find some sort of prize from our box of merchandise that's not got lots in it anymore, but still exists, to give to the winner of that competition in the Subaru Predictions League. If you want to join that, again, go on the blog post, look for the links within the episode blog post that you'll be able to see. The blog post will be put on Twitter and Facebook as well, but superleaguepod.com should be where you can find that. And also, don't forget the Fantasy League. I think we were one of the first mini leagues to get set up this time around, because I saw that it had started before the Super League had tweeted out that it had started. So yeah. Great numbers already involved in that. Some new names as well that I've not seen contributing to the show very much. So, if you are part of that, let's get the banter going there, and let's get the chat going, and get your fan match reviews in as well to tell us how your fantasy players are getting on. Are they letting you down? Are they keeping you going? When you're watching a game and you're rooting for so-and-so because he's on your wing, but you don't want him to beat your team, how's that feel? Let's get a bit of that chat going this year. So please do get around those two competitions. And like I say, the winners will find some sort of prize for come October. Championship starts this week as well, of course, Alan.
Yes.
Game of the week, I think it's on our league. So they're funding the flights already, the RFL, out to Toulouse. Because it's Toulouse versus York. It was very tempting for us